Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. Alright, let's go ahead and let's continue with the all-new book, Mysterious Monsters, Fact or Fiction. This one is being part 2 of the introduction of the book itself. I just did the inaugural video the other day and there was some pretty good reception. Good views, good comments. People are interested in this book. I'm glad because definitely this is a book that seems very interesting to me. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and continue this next part associated with this chapter, and then it'll wrap up the introduction. And then by the next part, we'll finally be able to start the actual book itself. But otherwise, right from the get-go, there's so much fascinating cryptid information that's being placed here. Definitely a good find. So let's go ahead and let's start that here, and then I'll give my own thoughts and opinions on the end of this introduction. So here's what this part states. What this means is that the strongest evidence of mysterious monsters tends to be anecdotal. Robert T. Carroll, who operates the Skeptics Dictionary website, www.skeptic.com, says cryptozoology relies heavily upon testimonials and circumstantial evidence in the form of legends and folklore, and the stories and alleged sightings of mysterious beasts by indigenous people, explorers, and travelers. For example, the people of Tibet have reported encounters with the Yeti, similar to the Bigfoot of North America for centuries. Many of these reports are highly detailed, describing the creature's appearance, smell, and sounds, and have been given by people deemed reliable. Yet many scientists say this is not enough. They ask, if the Yeti exists, why has no one ever captured one? Wildlife Conservation Society biologist Kent Redford responds, "What a bankrupt world it would be if you refused to believe things existed until you actually had seen a specimen in a museum." I mean, there are lots of things we were prepared to believe exist without having seen them. He points to subatomic particles as one example. However, a significant difference between cryptozoological creatures and subatomic particles is that scientists have been able to perform certain kinds of experiments that provide more solid evidence of the existence of subatomic particles than anyone has been able to provide so far for the Yeti or for any other mysterious monster. Ben S. Roche, editor of the Cryptozoology Review and host of an informative cryptozoology website, www.ncf.carleton.ca, says that some of the criticism leveled against cryptozoology is justified. In many cases, cryptozoologists are too carefree in their conclusions and don't bother to incorporate scientific data that refutes what they are proposing. Occam's razor, a theory that says the simplest explanation is often the best, is generally not applied with sufficient rigor. I often find that many cryptozoological theories can be explained equally well with alternatives that are less radical and more consistent with accepted facts. In other words, looking at the Loveland frog anecdote above, a dog is a simpler explanation than a bizarre giant frog creature. If the known facts fit a dog at least as well as they fit a mysterious monster, using Occam's razor, a person would probably conclude that what the officer saw was a dog. Still, there are cryptozoologists who pursue their query with scientific rigor to the degree that they are able. They use statistical analysis of witness reports and laboratory analysis of what meager evidence they find, in addition to thoroughly examining witnesses and their stories. And they continue to believe that one day they will find conclusive evidence of a mysterious monster that lurks in the wilderness. Next little mini segment is entitled Amazon Monster. I was working by the river when I heard a scream, a horrific scream the now 70-year-old hunter Yao Batista Azevedo told Reuters news agency by telephone from his remote Amazon village. Suddenly, something looking like a man came out of the forest, all covered with fur. He was walking on two legs, and thank God he did not come toward us. Others have described this creature as about 6 feet tall, built extremely powerful, capable of breaking thick roots with his footsteps, and emitting a terrible smell, a mixture of feces and rotting flesh. Next segment, little mini one, is called Giant Bird. He's huge, he's really, really big, so said pilot John Booker about the gigantic bird the size of a small airplane that he and several others reported seeing fly over southwest Alaska in October 2002. According to the Anchorage Daily News on October 15th that year, Booker had been skeptical when he had heard other reports of giant birds. Then he and his airline passengers saw it for themselves. Next mini segment is called Winged Cats. In 1995, in Cumbria, England, tourist Martin Milner encountered a large, friendly tabby cat with a very distinctive pair of fluffy wings, reports zoologist and cryptozoologist Carl P.N. Schucker. And then the 1970s photos that were taken of the cat mascot at a Manchester, England construction firm. The cat had furry wings sprouting from its shoulders, each measuring 11 inches, thereby yielding an impressive 22-inch wingspan. And then the last mini segment is called Monkey Man. In May 2001, citizens of New Delhi, India, and nearby towns were terrorized by a mysterious ape-like creature that had the head of a monkey and the body of a man. The creature leapt from roof to roof and pounded on people, biting and scratching them. The police distributed portraits of the creature to its officers with orders to shoot on sight. Then the next segment is called The Fascination with Monsters. When questioning the existence of mysterious monsters, one of the most puzzling aspects is the number of people who say they have encountered them, seen them, heard them, smelled them, been threatened by them, or seen the results of their sometimes savage activities. As author John Keel writes, no matter where you live on this planet, someone within 200 miles of your home has had a direct confrontation with a frightening apparition or inexplicable monster. An almost infinite variety of known and unknown creatures thrive on this mudball earth and appear regularly year after year, century after century. So how can thousands of reports being explained if not by the existence of mysterious monsters the witnesses think they have encountered? In the more straightforward cases, mysterious monsters are easily explained by hoaxes and misperceptions of more ordinary things. For example, in the Loveland Frog anecdote above, the officers may have misperceived a dog and only thought they saw a monster. However, there are other explanations to consider as well. People have reported monsters as long as humanity has existed, and even more people who have not encountered monsters themselves believe in them. If such creatures do not exist, why do people continue to report and believe in them? Some psychologists say that people need monsters. In ancient myths, monsters were often used as the explanation for why bad things happen to good people. For people today, monsters can provide cautionary tale, help one deal with one's own dark side, and provide pleasurably fearful mental stimulation. Cautionary lessons. Sometimes a myth or legend about a monster can teach or reinforce an important lesson. For example, geographer Nigel Smith thinks that native people's stories about the Amazon monster described above provide an important ecological safeguard. The monster is said to travel with white-lipped peccaries, wild pigs, protecting those porcine herds and wreaking terrible revenge on any overzealous hunter it catches. Smith says that such stories ensure that the people of the jungle do not deplete their natural resources, such as the peccary. Similarly, when adults tell children of the boogeyman, or the Bigfoot or chupacabras lurking in the nearby woods, such tales help protect uncautious children from harm by discouraging them from venturing into environments they are not prepared to handle. Dealing with the dark side. Some people believe that consideration of monsters can help people explore their own dark side. The monster is the alien in our minds, says Italian criminologist Francesco Sidoti. He's the inescapable, the incredible, and the inadmissible that has finally become visible and tangible. The radical otherness of the monster can help us define ourselves. By confronting a monster, whether in real life or vicariously through the experiences of others, people are made to examine their own characters. How is the monster different from themselves? Or more frightening, how is it alike? How would they behave if they met such a creature? By thinking about and answering such questions, people can develop the better understanding of their own characters. Mental stimulation. Patrick Macias, the author of Tokyo Scope, the Japanese cult film companion, says that monsters provide much needed mental exercise. The human imagination needs exercise to stay healthy, and grappling with the weird and horrible offers a major mental workout. Andrew Greeley, a Catholic priest and novelist, now deceased, would probably concur. In an interview about why people are attracted to vampires, he said that such creatures fulfill a hunger for the marvelous, especially in today's world where many people have lapsed from traditional spiritual beliefs. When they have given up angels and devils, he says, some people are going to turn to aliens, Darth Vader, a character from the Star Wars movies, and vampires. Life seems to be dull and unexciting, so you have to hunt for something marvelous enough to bring back the excitement. And then the very last segment is called Tantalizing Mysteries. Certainly, excitement is one reason cryptozoologists search for mysterious monsters, and one reason people continue to believe in them. For what could be more exciting than at last discovering irrefutable evidence of a creature that so many people refuse to believe in? The thrill of the unknown and search for explanations and answer to a mystery, all of these keep cryptozoologists and others on the trail of mysterious monsters. And then that's it. That pretty much wraps up the very nice introduction associated with this book. It's called Mysterious Monsters, Fact or Fiction. Let's go ahead and let's quickly talk about that here. So as you can see, once again, he goes on an analysis, a skeptical analysis of the world of cryptozoologists. I'll admit there is a lot of loose ends when it comes to that world. A lot of things, as the segment stated, involves just counting on testimonials and circumstantial evidence, but nothing really tangible at the very same time. Like no evidence, like where's the actual video, photograph, or actual captured evidence? Although, again, it could be said that that stuff is anecdotal, that maybe it could be brought upon afterward. Well, it doesn't have to necessarily be caught in order for it to exist, but it does leave a lot of carefree conclusions, as the book nicely stated, when it comes to many cryptids. And then again, it went into little mini segments like the Amazon monster, giant bird, winged cats. That's fascinating. I haven't heard of that one before. Monkey Man and so on. And then it ended with the fascination with monsters and analysis of dealing with things like, is it cautionary lessons? Is it more along the lines of there's a big bad monster, a cryptid, on the other end of that forest? That's why you got to stay away from it, as a way to keep people from getting lost into woods. Or dealing with the dark side is the idea that it's just something within our own minds. It's something else that is popping up and people are just placing it as a cryptid. Even the idea of mental stimulation. How about that? The notion that you got to have something happening in the world of cryptids, because inevitably that's what humans do. It's angels and devils. And so when that thing is gone, then now it's more along the lines of cryptids and monsters. Fascinating stuff. And so that's basically what this whole introduction is. It's a nice tease about what's going to happen with the rest of the book. The next chapter, by the way, is going to be dealing chapter 1 with the Mothman. So how about a nice little tease for that? Can't wait to get into it. Let me know what you guys think about this book too. So far, everything is looking good. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.